We've got a jam-packed college football schedule to get to. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's do it. Alright, James, it is season 5, episode 18. How are we feeling?
We're in the college football playoffs. I'm excited. I'm excited about these games, especially this week. Also, Merry Christmas to everybody. We didn't say it last week because it was what? It was like right before Christmas we filmed it.
It was like,
so it would have been. But Merry Christmas to everybody.
It was still exam week, so it was like,
Yeah. But yep. So I'm excited to talk about some games, and this is our favorite time of year is college football playoffs. So.
Oh, you got the scores up, so you got to pull up the scores for.
I got you.
All the games. So we're gonna talk about the first round games first.
Keep it pretty quick. Talk about first.
You pick, James. The podcast is your oyster.
I say we talk about the JMU Oregon game first.
All right. Well, we're gonna talk about the JMU Oregon game first.
So Oregon.
Let's kind of group the group of 5 ones together, kind of.
Okay.
So, we'll talk about Oregon first. Like Oregon, their offense was amazing. They did exactly what we were talking about. How they would just jump on them early, never let them breathe, kind of thing. Like put them away, scoring immediately on every drive. They were up by like 35 in like the first quarter. So.
51-34 was the final score.
Yeah, so they let JMU claw back into it kind of with their offense late in the game, but it was always over, which is a little disheartening. Was there starters in the second half, Oregon?
Oregon, yeah. They played.
Yeah, so
it was still decently close. It was like a 3-score game. So.
Really. That's kind of disheartening to see like James Madison scoring at will in the second half, and they also give up 500 yards. I wasn't sure if the starters ran or not, but that's kind of worrisome, especially against these Texas Tech team that's a lot better than James Madison.
Yeah.
So anything you got?
But I think James Madison played well in this one. And I think that's kind of what we're going to talk about with Tulane too. Is they both played really, really well. Like James Madison was actually able to run the ball effectively. They just couldn't really get stops. That's why they could never really be in the game. But their offense actually played really well, and I would be really proud of myself if I was JMU. Like you played really well in a college football playoff game. You went up to a hard environment. And you played them close in certain aspects of the game. So
I saw a lot of similarities in the first half of this game. Second half went way different. Ole Miss ran away from Tulane, and James Madison scored a lot. But in the first half specifically, both teams the other team couldn't really score, or the other team scored like a lot quick. Now Tulane did a good job of stopping Ole Miss in like the second quarter. They didn't score a lot, but early on, lots of scoring by the other team. And then the group of 5 team was moving the ball, but they couldn't get it in the end zone. Right, you saw Tulane throw the interception on the first drive. They got far on their second drive, but I think ended up having to punt. And James Madison, same thing. They came up with a couple field goals early. So the lack of touchdowns when they should have been touchdowns early in these games kind of was the thing that put them away early.
Yeah, and like Tulane actually looked pretty good too. Like Retzloff looked like he threw for over 300 yards. I thought Tulane ran the ball pretty well in the first half. Like I thought they were doing pretty well on the ground. But yeah, it was just in those big moments they really couldn't convert. Like at that first drive, Tulane looked really good, and then the pick, and it kind of all went downhill from there. But there were certain aspects that I thought Tulane played really well. Same thing with James Madison. And I would be honored, honestly, to play in both those games and put up a fight in some aspects.
I think the group of 5 needs to stay in the playoff in some way, shape, or form. Like we're gonna expand it. I think they'll probably just keep them at 1, which is fine as long as one of them's in. It's good, but. And they need to have representation. And yeah, I think Tulane should have used Retzloff's legs more. I think that's Retzloff's fault mostly because either the coaching staff, I don't know if they were boxing him into throws or like if he was just pressured to throw it when he could have just stepped up and run. Like I needed him to make more plays, I think, especially early on. That's what he did on a couple third downs in the first drive to convert. Like that's what they needed to do if they wanted a chance, and they just didn't do it. So.
I think for me, with the whole group of 5 talk and like kind of situation that everyone's been talking about the past week since these games. I think for me is I'm not anti G5, right? Like I don't not want the group of 5 teams in the playoffs, but I think we've talked about on this podcast so many times, like we do want to see the best teams in there. And I think for me, I'm now anti kind of auto bid in a way. Like for me this year, Indiana getting an auto bid didn't matter than winning their conference. Same thing with the SEC, it won't ever matter. Big 12 probably won't matter. ACC maybe. You never know. ACC might not be a conference for the past couple of years, so we don't know. But for me, I don't know if auto bids need to be the thing. Like Boise State deserved to be in the playoffs last year. They were a top 10 team in the country, right? Like they deserve to be in. Whether they got dominated or not, it doesn't really matter. they deserve to be in. They were a top 10 team in the country. But Tulane and JMU being ranked in the 20s and then both getting in, I do see a little bit of a problem with it.
Maybe say they're like top 20, or put like
maybe, but like,
or put like a scheduling thing on it where if you're not, you can get the auto bid, but you got to have a good strength of schedule.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe
something like that.
It's something like that where you got to play like 3 Power 5 teams or something, or like something like that where it's not these easy ins. And I think if they play 3 Power 5 teams and they win 2, then they're probably sitting in like the top 15.
Maybe.
Right? So I think in that situation, like that's where auto bids start to maybe fade out, or maybe they just expand it. But we'll just have to see. But I think I'm not anti-group of 5. I think that's what everyone needs to get past, is like, it's not that we don't want group of 5 teams, it's that we want the best teams, right? And I think that this year the group of 5 teams were not the best teams. Last year they were. So we'll see what happens, and we'll have to just see through the course of this playoff how it ends up working out. But now in the second round, we've got the best teams. So
yeah, and like, I don't know. We're looking at realistic changes here. Like, everyone's talking about these monumental things that they think are going to happen to this playoff. I don't think there are going to be many changes. I think it's going to be a small change, increased by 2 or 4. Keep the 1 auto bid for the group of 5. Maybe change the auto bid to where like the ACC will always get the auto bid. I don't know, but it's going to be a couple minor changes that are going to happen. It's not going to be a major shift, so don't expect that. So talking about, I think Ole Miss proved a lot in this game, even though they're playing against an obviously inferior team. But I think Chambliss came out and played really well. The offense looked good. Charlie Weiss did a good job without Lane Kiffin and calling the plays, and they looked kind of the same on offense.
Yeah.
And no one expected the defense to change, so that's kind of all I have.
Yeah, no, I thought they looked really good. I thought they proved to themselves that like, hey, we're still here. Like we're not.
We'll really see this week.
Lane Kiffin stuff. So yeah, that's true. We will see this week. But that offense looked really good, man. Like they were just moving.
They started to. I don't know what they were doing late, like in the second quarter. They didn't really score because like they could just score whenever they wanted. It felt like
it kind of felt weird that Kwan Lacey didn't run the ball like insanely.
He got hurt.
He also got hurt, but I'm saying like in the second, like at the beginning of the second quarter into the first quarter, he wasn't really running the ball effectively. It felt like their run game was just kind of like lackluster in this one. But
I feel like it took Charlie Weiss a second to realize that Tulane had adjusted.
Yeah,
and that needs to be like Kirby Smart's gonna adjust. Like you got to be able to.
It was also interesting. Like Summerall, they interviewed him, and you might not have seen this because you were at the game. But like at halftime, they give you like 90 seconds or whatever to like interview him real quick. And he said they asked him a question like, "What just happened out there? Like, what are you seeing? Like, what were your kind of adjustments?" And he's like, "It took us a while to adjust to like the speed, right? Like he's like, we're in this game now, but like it took us a minute." And then they ended up not being in the game. But like at halftime, they were still technically in the game. So like he was kind of saying like it took us a minute to get adjusted to the speed and the level of physicality, which is so true, right? Like group of 5 teams and a bunch of other teams have to get used to those.
Saw JMU do the same thing.
Exactly. So like that's something that I thought was interesting. Summerall was like he was very honest in the way like, hey, we had to get adjusted, and like we're here now and we're gonna try in the second half. Obviously, it didn't go their way, but. I thought that was really cool and like an honest moment from John Summerall and a valid thing that a lot of people have said. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that should have been a one-score game at halftime. And then Tulane got the ball after half. So that should have been Tulane has a chance to go tie the game after coming out of halftime, but it kind of just fell apart. So Oklahoma, Alabama now. That was an awesome game. Yeah. Oklahoma goes up 17-0. Everyone's like, oh yeah, this is over. Oklahoma's got their number. Their offense looks as good as it has all year, and their defense is looking amazing. Ty Simpson's getting rattled. Ty Simpson was really rattled. That's going to be a thing I'll talk about in a minute. But they rattled him. And so the fact that Alabama was able to come back and win that game, obviously Oklahoma made a stupid mistake. There was the miscommunication on the pick six. There was the blocked punt, obviously. So a lot of things had to happen, but Alabama did a good job of getting back into the game mentally, because that's not something a lot of teams can do.
Yeah, I thought Mateer was about to have one of those games. Like Mateer was about to show.
He still played really well.
Still one of the best quarter, and he did. But they kind of fell apart offensively in the second half, and Ty Simpson came to life in the second half, dude. Like some of the throws that Ty Simpson was making, and like we talked about it last week, when he gets in that flow state and he starts going, like there's not many better than him in the country. So that was what Bama needed, and they got it in the second half. And they still can't run the ball, but when they can throw the ball that well,
that's a good defense.
Alabama's a threat.
Now, Indiana is not probably about the same amount of defense as Oklahoma. So, but I think Alabama, they needed that. They needed something to jumpstart them, because they had really been struggling recently, and that showed in the first half. They looked the same as they had, but they were down, and they realized, hey, we got to pick this up in the midseason form if we want to win this game. and they had the big block punt, the big pick six to jumpstart them, right? That's what they needed to be able to kind of get back into midseason form. And I'll be interested to see how that carries over into this next game. So.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Miami, Texas A&M.
What a game, dude.
Quite a game.
I'm not going to lie, like, I had a lot of fun watching this game, and it was not, like, one of the games you would think would be fun to watch, but I had a lot of fun.
I didn't get to watch a lot of it, but I watched the first half, and, yeah, it was a lot of fun. The missed kicks were interesting. The win.
Dude, just the whole game was just so weird. Defensive, gritty battle, like, it was just such a weird game. But Miami comes out with the win, 10-3 was the final score.
Yeah, it's just, it was always going to come down to the turnovers, man, and obviously, both teams turned it over a couple times, but Marcel Reed made the big turnover late on the goal line with a chance to tie the game. So that's what it was going to come down to with the whole time. And A&M kind of did the A&M thing where they choked. So I can't really expect much else.
And I thought Marcel Reed kind of, in the first half, was making such actually good decisions. Like, when he would get rattled, he'd get outside the pocket, and he picked up on the first, like, 2 drives, like, 4 third downs with his legs.
Yeah.
Like, and I thought that was going to be like, oh, like, here comes Texas A&M. Like, this is going to be it because he's if he can get outside the pocket with his legs and pick up third downs, like, that's big for A&M to keep above the chains or keep ahead of the chains. So, like, that's a big thing for A&M. But Miami played really well on defense. I was impressed.
Yeah.
They pressured Marcel Reed, and they actually got him on the ground in the second half. And that was kind of the big, like, tipping point is, like, Marcel Reed couldn't really get outside the pocket as much. And then he was rattled, and he made rush throws. And Mark Fletcher, dude, for Miami.
That's the guy that saved the game.
Dude, they could run the ball in that one. Like, and A&M has been a pretty good rushing defense this year, but they got dominated at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. Defensive line and offensive line. Miami's offense and defensive line played so much better. But Mark Fletcher was incredible. That is like a Miami guy, like, through and through, and it's cool to see something like that.
Yeah, we were talking about, like, which quarterback's going to make the big turnovers. And Carson Beck did a really good job of that. Didn't turn the ball over.
He did.
But he didn't have to do much, and that was the big thing. Marcel Reed had everything on his back, and they couldn't really run the ball. I mean, right?
No,
not
really.
So, like, Marcel Reed had to do it all, whereas Carson Beck could hand it off and be fine. And they were averaging, 17 yards a carry or something. So, like...
It was also, like, Le'Veon Moss went out again for Texas A&M. It was, like, it was a running game where they didn't have much. Whatever his name. I think it's Emmitt Smith's son technically plays on the team. He got it going a couple times, but there really wasn't much in the Texas A&M running game, so that was kind of what killed him.
All right, let's move on to the quarterfinals.
Let's do it.
A little bit shorter this week. We're going to do key players, keys to the game, and our pick. So, I couldn't figure out which one was the best games. It was kind of all the same. So, we're going to go in order of when they're being played.
Okay, that works.
So, we got number 10, Miami versus number 2, Ohio State. This is the Cotton Bowl, I want to say?
You
should know this.
I think it's Orange Bowl.
Orange Bowl something. It's.
I'll pull it
I didn't write that down. No, Oregon, Texas Tech is the Cotton Bowl, right?
Yeah.
I know Alabama's the Rose Bowl. I know Ole Miss is the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, it's Orange Bowl is Oregon, Texas Tech.
Okay.
So you're right, Cotton
Bowl. Cotton Bowl. Okay.
Cotton Bowl.
So this is the Cotton Bowl. I should have just trusted myself. Let's start with the key players. For Miami, my key player is Ruben Bain. The defensive end, going to hear his name called really high in the draft this year. You got to do basically what you did against Marcel Reed, right? You got to pressure Julian Sayin. Julian Sayin's not going to be able to escape as well as Marcel Reed, which is good for them. But you got to be able to pressure him. If Julian Sayin can sit back and just dink and dunk you down the field, and he will carve you up if he has time in the pocket to do it. So you got to be able to get there, force the issue, force him to throw it earlier than he wants to. That'll force maybe not mistakes, but check downs and incompletions and throwaways. So that's huge for them to get to the quarterback. That starts with Ruben Bain.
Yeah, so mine's similar. I went with the other guy on the defensive line, Akeem Mesidor, which is someone who has not been highlighted this year for Miami. He's been incredible. Because Ruben Bain's on the other side, he hasn't really got his flowers as much. He will also most likely be a late first-round pick. He's been incredible. I think both of them being able to work on both sides, like they have to pressure Julian Sayin. They kind of have to do what Indiana did in that game against Ohio State and get Julian Sayin on the ground. So this will be a big thing for the defensive ends and the defensive line, so I agree with you.
Yeah. All right, Ohio State, my key player is Bo Jackson. He's a running back. And Julian Sayin, he's never been here before, right? So you got to be able to take the pressure off him. Don't pull a Marcel Reed and make it all Julian Sayin, and that's where you can lose this game. If Bo Jackson can get going, they can stay balanced. Miami defense won't be able to stop them if they can balance. Nobody can. That takes the pressure off Julian Sayin to be able to drop back and make good throws without feeling the pressure of having to have the game of his life.
Yeah, I mean, I've got kind of a similar one. I kind of went with a duo, and it's Jeremiah Smith and Cardinal Tate. They're going to have to make plays on the outside. And I think if this game comes to wash, and it's both defensive lines are playing well or neither one is playing well. I think those guys are going to have to make really big plays, and I think they're going to have to help out Julian Sand, like you said. When you have two of the best receivers in the country, those are some key players in a big game. So both those guys, Jeremiah Smith last year in the playoffs showed us why he is the best player in America, and hopefully he shows us again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he does because he's been kind of quiet for Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, I mean
at times this year. So keys to the game for Miami. My key to the game is kind of what it was last week. Take care of the ball. Like and they did it well last week, and that's why you won against A&M. Now Ohio State's not going to give you anything like A&M did. You definitely have to take care of the ball. You can definitely not give them anything because they will not give it back. They are going to take the opportunities and they're going to score. They're going to beat you if you keep turning it over. So it's been a big weakness for them this year. They did well last week. I need to see it again, especially from Carson Beck. Just not turning the ball over. Play a clean game, and they can probably win this game. Or not probably, but maybe win this game.
Yeah, I agree. Mine's just get Julian Sand on the ground, right? Like, you kind of have to do the Hoosier method. Like I said, Indiana, they got Julian Sand on the ground. Ohio State couldn't run the ball very well. Like, the defensive line dominated that game for Indiana. You kind of have to do the same thing. And I think Miami has the best defensive line, maybe besides Texas Tech, in the nation. So, like, it's a little different than Indiana. So if they can get to the quarterback and Julian Sand gets a little rattled, that's where this game the momentum starts to shift, and that's where Miami can kind of take it, especially on offense after their defense steps up.
Ohio State, my key to the game is turn Miami one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Do what Texas Tech or Texas A&M could not do, right? They couldn't stop the run. You have to be able to stop the run in this game. So if you can stop the run and you force Carson Beck into throwing downs and you know he's throwing it, and everyone and their grandma knows he's throwing it, you can drop back and make plays with your All-American defensive backs running around the field and All-American linebackers running around the field. Carson Beck will make mistakes. So you have to be able to stop the run and make them one-dimensional, make Carson Beck feel the pressure, make him force to throw it, and he will go make multiple mistakes in this game. That's how you win.
Yeah, mine is get into a kind of game flow where you have to rely on the skill players. Because Ohio State, in my opinion, like when it comes to the skill players, like they've got the better quarterback and the two better receivers, right? So like when it comes to that, like that's where Ohio State wins. If it becomes a thing where the defensive line is not dominating on either side, or the defense is not dominating for either team, that's where it becomes like then you get in a shootout, and Ohio State will win a shootout. So it's like that's the kind of thing is rely on your star players, like the guys who make plays for you. Rely on those guys, and that's how you'll win the game because you have so many better star players across the board. Interested
to see how the Miami trenches on both sides of the ball, like how much do they affect this game? How much does Ohio State let them affect this game? Because they're going to have to affect it a lot. Because on the back end, Miami can't compete as well. But Miami's better in the trenches, so I'm going to see how that plays out. And Ohio State's got to be ready. So my pick, I went with Ohio State. Ohio State 24, Miami 14. I think Miami's going to make some costly turnovers. It's going to be kind of a slow game, kind of grind it out kind of thing. Probably feeling each other out in the first half. And then I think Miami's going to make some turnovers late. I don't think Sands going to play too well. I think he's going to play good enough to take advantage of the opportunities that Miami gives them in good field position. And I think Ohio State's going to win this game pretty handily late.
Yeah, I think the first half is going to be really, really close. I think this game could be in Miami's favor in the first half. I think it could be tied. But I think in the second half, Julian Sand kind of turns it on, actually. And I think Ohio State starts to make some plays and not really pull away. I think this one's 24-20 Ohio State because I just think the line of scrimmage for Miami is so good, and I think that they can kind of stick in any game. But I just don't – I think it could happen, but I don't see it happening. So I'm going to go with Ohio State. They're just a better team at a lot of different positions. And I think they can make a lot of better plays. So I'm going to go with Ohio State. But I'm not confident in any of these games.
Yeah, absolutely not. Like, kind of no spoiler. But, like, for all the other three except for Oregon, Texas Tech, it's like the underdog, I could see them winning. Or, like, they could win, but I can't really see it happening. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just said.
Yeah.
Like,
that's what I'm saying.
They could win, but, like,
but,
like, do you really think that's going to happen? Is it really possible in your brain? No.
Yeah.
But it absolutely could on paper. So it's interesting. See what happens. So let's move on to Oregon, Texas Tech. Okay. Biggest game, most fun game probably of the year. I'm so excited. I have no idea what's going to happen here. Like, genuinely. So let's start with the key players. I went with a quarterback here. I think I went with 4 quarterbacks. So
I did too.
Yeah, sorry about that. I broke the rules. But I went with Dante Moore. I think he's got to play smart. This Texas Tech defense feeds off turnovers, especially late in games. They've done it pretty much every game at this point where they pull away in the second half because of the turnovers that they get. Dante Moore has to play smart. He cannot play into that energy for Texas Tech. So if he does, if he starts turning the ball over, Texas Tech will beat you down fast. Ask BYU, right? So you got to play smart. You got to protect the ball. And I think just be surgical. Take what they give you. And you can have a good game, but you just can't play Texas Tech's game of turnover football, else you're going to lose.
Yeah, I agree. I went with Dante Moore, too. I think he's such a big factor in this one because we've seen times throughout the year where Oregon has been sped up and they haven't been able to run the ball, and Dante Moore's gotten a little uncomfortable. Now, he's been able to win some games, like the Washington game. They could not run the ball at all. Iowa game, they really couldn't run the ball much. Dante Moore had to make some big plays in both those games down the stretch. But then you see the Indiana game, where they lost because they could not run the ball, and Dante Moore was sped up, and he made bad turnovers. So I think keep getting Dante Moore comfortable, letting him sit in the pocket. I think he's the most talented quarterback in the playoffs right now, which might be a crazy take, but I think Dante Moore can take over kind of any game, and that's why Oregon has a shot to win a national title, and it's because of this guy. So I think this is it's a big turning point for him. And if they can win this game, the sky's the limit.
Looks like he's gonna be the number one pick, and he's got to show it right here. Got to show it in this playoff. My key play for Texas Tech, I went with the quarterback Baron Morton. Look, you got to be able to score without defensive help. They struggle with this, I think, at times, especially against BYU in their last game. Like, they could not score in the second half unless it was, really the whole game, unless it was off a turnover. And they had good field position. You got to be able to drive the field. This is a better defense probably than BYU has. I don't really know, but Dan Lanning defense I'm sure is fine. So, got to be able to score without that defensive help. That's going to be big. You're not going to get as many turnovers probably as you're used to. You're not going to be able to just turn around and get at the 25 every possession. Like, you got to be able to drive the field. Got to be able to sustain drives, not just go 3 and out. Could get back to Oregon. You got to control the game. You can't let Oregon control it. So that's big, and that starts with Baron Morton at quarterback.
I went defense. I think Texas Tech probably has the best front seven in all of college football this year. Like, there's some dogs out there, and Jacob Rodriguez is one, but I went with David Bailey. If you've watched David Bailey play, I think a lot of people understand why Texas Tech made him the highest paid defensive player in college football. Like, I think that makes sense. He's not better than Ruben Bain, but he's close. He had 13 and a half sacks this year. He's been incredible. I think starting the game on defense for Texas Tech, what they hang their hat on, stopping the run, which Oregon does so well, is going to be a big deal in this one, and that starts with David Bailey and one of the best defensive lines in the country. So,
yeah. All right, keys to the game for Oregon. My key to the game is to just get the ground game going, like we've been saying. Like, you gotta run the ball. You've been struggling a lot at times with that, mostly throughout the year. So if this defense knows you're throwing, they're gonna start making those turnovers. That they're too good to not, right? So you gotta be able to run the ball. You've gotta have them guessing, run or pass, right? They gotta have them commit to stopping the run, so then you can pass it and have pressure off of Dante Moore, allow him to make plays. Because if they know that he's throwing, it's gonna be a tough game for the Oregon offense.
Yeah, I had the exact same thing, pretty much. Like, it's get Dante more comfortable in the pocket. Because Oregon has been able to run the ball so well this year, and that's why you've seen these amazing glimpses from Dante Moore. Now, the thing with Texas Tech is they're one of the best teams in the country at stopping the run. They've always been good at that. This whole year, no one's really been able to run the ball on them. So I think for Oregon, it's you have to be able to run the ball, and you have to be able to get quick stops on defense. Like, Dante Moore cannot be sitting on the sidelines after he turned the ball over for that long. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get him back on the field. And those are some big momentum shifts that Oregon's going to have to handle in this one.
For Texas Tech, I said turn the game chaotic. Just how you like it. Just how you did against BYU in both of those games. Just like you did like against Utah. Or any of these games that they've really won against good teams. It's like, get lots of turnovers. Especially in the second half. Start playing that turnover game where it's quick, and it's chaotic, and it's fun. And that's how you're going to win this game, and they can run away with it if they do that. And then you give off your offense good field position when you do that. And when you're giving that offense good field position, they're going to punch it in. But it is something to watch to this offense. Like, a lot of times against BYU, even when they got the ball off a turnover, they have to kick the field goal. So I'll like to see how this offense does. But if you turn the game chaotic, you give your offense good field position, it should go well for Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think for Texas Tech this year, a lot of people are looking at them. They're looking at that double T logo. They're looking at the Big 12 patch on their chest. They're like, I don't know if I really trust them. I do. I trust Texas Tech a lot. I think they can be in this game. I think they can win this game. I think they can run to a national title. But I also don't know if they have played someone of Oregon's speed. And that's the thing, you have to get adjusted to Oregon's speed quickly in this one, because the speed for Oregon is unlike any other team that you face. It's not really even close. So that's something you have to get adjusted to quickly. And even though I do believe in Texas Tech, that is going to be a very hard thing, because Texas Tech's fast. They're not close to Oregon. Hopefully they have scheme for that. They've had a couple weeks to do that, and they've seen Oregon play and a bunch of things. But that's the thing. You got to get adjusted quick. You got to jump on them early, and that's how Texas Tech wins the game.
Yeah. Okay. My pick. This was just like a coin toss, pick on kind of thing for me. I had no idea where this is gonna go. I'm basically 50-50, but they're making me pick. So I'm gonna take Texas Tech. Take the higher seed. Take the team that I trust more. That's been more consistent. I think they're gonna win this game 27-24. It's gonna be a crazy second half. And a crazy game in general. Lots of turnovers, I think. There's a lot of big plays late. Even if they're not just turnovers, like big plays late in this game. I think Texas Tech just makes maybe one more big play. Right? I think that's going to be the difference. Texas Tech's offense, I think, is going to come out of their shell in the second half and make some big plays. And I think that's how you win.
Yeah, so I think this is a hard game for me to pick, because I think Texas Tech's offense gets shattered a little bit because of how good their defense is. Their offense got weapons everywhere. But I'm going with Oregon because the solo fact, I'm going 27-24, just because I think that Oregon is a more talented team. I think they're a surprising team, and I think they're kind of coming out of the shadows that people don't realize that, like, hey, we're still here. Like, we can still contend for a national title. I think it's going to be an incredible game. I think either team could win, but I think Dante Moore looks really good in this one. I think he makes big plays down the stretch. Oregon probably is going to get back at least one of their guys, maybe two of them. Evan Stewart is questionable for this game. DeCorian Moore is most likely going to play. If they get those two guys back, this offense might be unstoppable. So I will go with the Oregon Ducks in a really close one. I think Texas Tech plays really well, and they could take it late as well.
Yeah, this could go either way.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
And it's the first game on Saturday,
yeah,
right?
You can wake up on New Year's Day after being up super late, and like you wake up late, and then it's like the game's on. It's gonna be great. Yeah, it's exciting. I don't know what this game's gonna look like. You could see either team pulling away and winning in blowout. You could see either team winning a close game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised with anything at this point. All right, number 9 Alabama.
Ooh, Rose Bowl, baby.
Number 1 Indiana. This is the afternoon game on New Year's Day. Start with key players and start with Alabama. My key player is Ty Simpson, man. You gotta play basically a near perfect game. The running game, I'm not even gonna talk about that. It's out the window. They can't run. They can't run the ball. You're not gonna run the ball against Indiana. Like, you're not gonna do it. So Ty Simpson has to play a near perfect game because the run game won't help him. He needs to be surgical like he was in that second half against Oklahoma, but he needs to replicate it throughout the whole game.
Yeah, you pretty much took the words out of my mouth. Like, Alabama, at this point, we've given up on them trying to run the ball. And we've kind of given up on them trying to stop the run. They're not great at stopping the run either. At this point, it's like, this is what Alabama's got. Like, it's the passing game. And they're one of the best in the country at it. So I'm going with Ty Simpson, too. He's got to play a big game. It's the biggest game of his life, biggest stage of his life. He's never played it like a Rose Bowl before against the number 1 team in the country. Like, this is it for Ty Simpson. He's a football kid. I do think he could shine in the moment, but he's got to if they want to win this game.
Yeah, my key player for Indiana, I went kind of different. I went with Elijah Hardy. Yeah. Elijah Hardy, the linebacker, he leads their team in sacks and tackles.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. And I think he's going to need to pressure Simpson often. And that goes for the whole D-line in general. Like, you can't let Simpson settle in and, like, beat you. Right? Kind of like I was saying with Julian saying, you can't let him settle in the pocket and just beat you downfield and be surgical in the pass game. You got to battle him. That's what Oklahoma did so well. Now, Oklahoma's special teams and John Mateer let them back in the game and unrattled him, right? But I think this defense, especially the defensive line, the linebackers, showing him something, doing something else, like blitzing, dropping back. They need to rattle him. They need to force him to make mistakes. And then once you rattle him, if you can keep him rattled, those mistakes will come, and they can win this game really easily.
Yeah, I went with a guy who was a dog of the week really early in this season, Elijah Surratt for Indiana. I've talked about him on the podcast before. I think he's one of the most talented players in college football, and he's been really quiet the past 3 weeks. He really wasn't used much in that Big Ten game. Well, not many people on offense were. But I think Elijah Surratt has to make plays in this one. I think there's going to be big guys on offense that have to step up for Indiana. Because Alabama's DBs, they kind of lean on them in the passing game. It's going to be a really good battle between the Indiana receivers and the Alabama DBs. So I think Elijah Surratt, being the best receiver out there for Indiana, is going to have to make plays. and I think he can. But he plays a key role for this one.
Yeah. My key to the game for Alabama, look, like it feels like coming into this game, all the pressure's on Alabama when it really shouldn't be, like because of their logo, because the inconsistencies that they've had against like the uber consistent underdog Indiana, right? So I think what Bama needs to do is just start off hot in this game, right? Now one part of that is that Indiana is not going to let you come back like Oklahoma did. It's not going to happen. Fernando Mendoza is too good for that. They play too much of clean football for that, right?
Yeah.
So, but if you start off hot, you also put the pressure on Indiana, right? You flip it and make Indiana feel it, right? And that's how you can really impact this game and really turn this into an Alabama game where it's like make it your game where Indiana's playing in it, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of how you need to think of it. So start off hot, don't let Indiana beat you down early, and then you can turn this into your game and control it.
Yeah, for Bama, for me, they're kind of in this like headspace, like find a way mode, like find a way to win, right? And I think you need to keep that on because we saw Notre Dame last year. They weren't one of the best teams coming into that tournament or coming into that bracket, but they found ways to win, right? And they ran to a national title. I think that is something that Bama has been able to do throughout the course of the season and throughout the end of the season especially. They find ways to win games. And I think keeping that on, and that's kind of, it's always there, right? Like, we're always in it. And I think that's a big thing for Alabama to just keep in that headspace, like, just find a way to win. We might not be the better team, but we're going to find a way to win.
Yeah, that's definitely a good point. Like, they found a way to win. They went on that stretch in the regular season and they won, like, 4 straight ranked games, and they were all close, and they were just find a way. Against Auburn, they found a way. Like, that's definitely
Auburn proved so much to me. Like, not a lot of people give credit for Alabama in that game. Like, Ty Simpson, dude, his legs in that game, like, they found so many ways to win that football game. Like, that game is not getting enough credit against a scrappy Auburn team fighting for bowl eligibility. Like, that's a game that Alabama showed a lot. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, absolutely. So for Indiana, my key to the game is just play a clean game. They've done it pretty much every game all year at this point. You got to keep it going, though. Against an SEC team that you haven't seen yet, a team that can be very physical, very strong, they're bigger, they're stronger than you. You got to play a clean game, sustain your drives, be efficient on offense, right? Don't just stall out and give Alabama life. Just so you can't allow big plays on defense. Like, keep everything in front of you. Don't let them feed off that big play energy. Like, just make them march down the field because they can't run the ball. So that's going to be tough for them to do. And then just at the end of the day, don't give Alabama anything. Oklahoma did. Ask them how that went, right? You have to just make them earn it themselves because that offense, they just can't. If you can't run the ball, you can't earn this many points for yourself. Todd Simpson can only do so much against one of the best defenses in the country. So I think if you just don't give them anything and make them earn everything themselves, they won't, and that's how you win this game.
Yeah, mine's like totally different. Mine's more of a mindset. I think we've looked at Indiana this year as this hungry, scrappy team. So stay hungry, right? Like everyone the past couple weeks has been telling you how good you are. You have the Heisman winner, like Fernando Mendoza's been told how good he is and how incredible your team is. Like, stay like some dogs. Like, that's what Indiana has done this entire year. They're some dogs. And, like, I think that's still the mindset you have to have. You're the favorite. You're the number 1 seed. You have the best quarterback in the nation. Like, all these things you have that not a lot of people saw at the beginning of the year, and that's why you were winning games, right? You had this mindset where, we're the underdog. Like, we're Indiana football. Like, no one really knows who we are. I think you got to keep that mentality in this one because you're going up against an Alabama team that is scrappy and that wants to win this game. Like, Alabama wants to win this game. They are playing their best football right now. So this is going to be a really good game. You got to stay hungry.
Yeah, for sure. For my pick, I don't think this is going to be a very exciting game. I have 5 field goals kicking this game.
Whoa.
And I think it's going to be kind of just Indiana's just going to control the pace of the game. It's going to be kind of slow, not really slow, just kind of monotonous kind of. There's going to be a lot of scoring, but it's not going to feel like it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I have Indiana 30, Alabama 20. And I think it's going to be close at times, but I think Indiana's just going to control it. You're never really going to have a doubt on who's winning this game. And you're just going to kind of be watching to watch. Like, it's going to be on the background of your party or something. Like, something, it's not going to be super exciting, but Indiana's going to win this game pretty handily, 30-20.
Yeah, I'm going 27-20, Indiana as well. I was really trying to find ways where I could pick Bama in this one, and because they have so many good things about them where I do think they can win. but I just think the run game's finally going to kill them. They're going to become way too one-dimensional, and I think Fernando Mendoza looks good. I think the Indiana receivers make plays. I think that Indiana defensive line looks really good. And I think Indiana, like you said, kind of in a boring game, walks on into the semis.
Yeah, I don't know. This game can go a lot of different ways. Just like all these games.
Also, it's the Rose Bowl, dude. Like, it's just so sick. Like, Indiana, Bama, and the Rose... I don't know.
But the Rose Bowl is always kind of a game like that where it's like not too exciting.
Well, like last year it was kind of like you finished watching the Cotton Bowl, which was Texas Arizona State, which was such a good game and like fun, and like remember Scadaboo threw that touchdown. There was like a bunch of the weird things that happened in that game. It was close, went to overtime, and then you turn on and like the TV changes into the next game, and it's like
30-0.
We're 5 minutes in, and Ohio State's up 21-0. What? And then it was kind of like no one really paid attention after that. So
yeah, it feels like the Rose Bowl's always like that. It's always like what Big 10, Big 12 is what it used to be.
Yeah,
it's always just kind of a game like that where you just went in the trenches, run the ball, kind of just. This game ain't gonna be like that with Alabama.
Yeah, like Michigan, Alabama a couple years ago in the Rose Bowl.
That was
that
Rose
playoff game.
Wait.
Yeah,
the playoff game.
Yeah, in that playoff.
Yeah, just games like that where it's just like grinded out, kind of. I don't know, nothing too exciting.
Those are all the teams that play in those games usually are like grinded out. But
Big 10, it used to be Big 10. Used to be Big 10, Big 12, and that was why, I guess.
Yeah, that's true.
Like the best Big 10 team and the best Big 12 team that won the playoff.
Boring, yeah.
Well, that's always how it is, right?
Yeah.
Iowa or Michigan, teams like that, right? So let's move on. Ole Miss versus Georgia. Let's go to key players. My key player, I broke the rules. My fifth quarterback is Trinidad Chambliss for Ole Miss. Now he's been really good this season. It's been crazy. Even in person, it was just amazing to watch the way he moved, the way he could throw the ball on the run, just the way his feel for the game was amazing. He's really dynamic, is the way I would describe him. So he needs to be as dynamic and as great as he's always been this whole season. He has to play a near perfect game if he wants to win against this Georgia defense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I went with my third quarterback, Trinidad Chambliss, and I think he's rival. He's in the top 3 of quarterbacks in this tournament or in the playoffs. But he just makes so many plays. Like you said, like his feel for the game is incredible. He's gonna have to do that in this one. He's seen this team before. Like he's seen Georgia. He's had 6 starts in between those games. Like he's been able to play and play well. Like how has he changed? How is he like scheming more for this Georgia team or scheming better? There's a lot of things that are going to fall on Trinidad Chambliss' shoulders in this one. Like he's going to have to make plays down the stretch if they want to be in this one. So yeah, I got him. Quarterback for Ole Miss, dude, he's been incredible. Yeah. Like it's insane to watch. Hope he gets that waiver.
He's not going to. But I hope he does too, because he's an LSU Tiger to get that waiver.
That's right.
100%.
That's right.
You heard him in that interview? I have to see all my options.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I have to see where my coach is going. Okay. Anyway, interesting to see if we have the same 2 guys here. I went with Nate Frazier for Georgia.
Oh, you saw mine?
I didn't see yours. I said interesting to see if we have the same guys here.
Yeah, we have the same guys.
And we do. I was assuming we do because it's 1 pick for Georgia. The guy,
Yeah.
Nate Frazier. He's a running back. You gotta lean into him at this point. Like you didn't really do that last time you played. I don't think Georgia wants to replicate that game. And that's kind of a nightmare situation for them.
Just the fourth quarter.
And the fact that they won that game shows how much better they are than Ole Miss, I think. So just lean into them, slow the game down, make this a Georgia football game with grit and physicality and toughness in the trenches. And that's how you win this game. That starts with Nate Frazier being able to run the ball and lean into them and impose your will on them.
Yeah, so last year against Notre Dame, I picked Nate Frazier as a key player. I went back and looked at my notes, and Nate Frazier was one of my key players. He was a freshman at that point. He kind of finally stepped into the starting role, and they really didn't use it much. In a game where Gunnar Stockton was now starting, you had no Beck. It was like a kind of a weird offensive game. It didn't really lean on Nate Frazier at all. I think in this one you kind of have to, like you said, you have to play Georgia football, and that's how you beat Ole Miss. It's not changing and playing Ole Miss football, because if you get in a game where you're playing Ole Miss football, I think you get worked.
Well, they did that the first time.
They did for 3.5 quarters, and then they
won.
Yeah, wild. That was also.
But they still kind of do because they scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah, that's still almost football. They just did better at it.
That was also that was a weird game. You got random a Lawson Lucky scored 3 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, I went back and looked at the stats and I was like, whoa, dude.
It was a bunch of
5 receptions, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, it was so random, and it was just a weird game. But I think it's good for both teams that they've played each other before. But I'll go with Nate Frazier. They got to lean on the run for sure. Play Georgia football.
Yeah. Keys to the game for Ole Miss, it's bring the physicality, right? You can't let them beat you down with their run game, right? In the trenches, you got to be able to match them in the trenches, match them with the physicality that you're going to bring. And I think that's the only way you can win this game, because if Georgia dominates you in the trenches like they think they can, like I think they will, it's going to be not even close. Because, I don't know, Ole Miss just doesn't have the guys, doesn't have the bodies. I think they need to bring the physicality, bring the heart, and match them down low if they want to win this game.
I'm kind of the opposite. I think Ole Miss should play fast and like silky smooth. Like
they can still do that, but
that's what I think they're gonna do. I think they play fast and free, and I think that's how they win the game. Last time that they played Georgia DBs gave the receivers a lot of cushion in that first half, and they were like the yards after the catch for Ole Miss was incredible in that game. They were running the ball well. Like I think that's what you get back to, right? Like those quick passes that Trinidad can kind of get in a flow, and then he can start to let it loose. Then he can get outside the pocket. Then he can like make throws that Trinidad makes. And I think playing fast, playing free, and playing Ole Miss football is what wins you the game. I don't think you change.
Well, yeah, we're still talking about different phases of the game. Like, what's fast and free going to do for you when Gunnar Stockton turns around and hands it off? Right?
Yeah, I'm talking about offense.
Yeah, and then, like, what's fast and free going to do for you when Trinidad drops back and there's a guy in his face? Like, so, we're talking about, like, on the outside, yeah. But, and I'm talking about more like the inside.
Okay,
so,
yeah, we're just talking about different things.
Yeah. And they can both coexist. Georgia, my key to the game is just play your brand of football, right? Be the tougher, more physical team, because you are. There's no need for another shootout like there was last time. You can just win this game and dominate them, and I think that they will. And that's the key to for them. Just play your brand of football. Don't fall into the Ole Miss brand of football you fell into last time.
Yeah, I kind of said a similar thing. Like last week for Miami against Texas A&M, I'm like, it's got to be body blow after body blow after body blow until something breaks, right? And that's what I think happens in this game for Georgia, right? Like, it's going to be run the ball, 7-yard carry, right? Another 7-yard carry. Yeah. And it's just going to continue to just, like, break you down. And then Nate Fraser's going to pop one off for 30. Or Gunnar Stockton's going to throw a 25.
Fourth quarter's going to come around and they're going to score 20 points.
Exactly. Or something like that. Like, that's Georgia. And that's why Georgia can win a national title. I do think that is probably what's going to happen, and that's how you can control the game, and that's what Georgia does. So, yeah, but just body blow after body blow. I said it last week for Miami. I'm saying the same thing for Georgia.
Yeah, this game is definitely the one that I have the best beat on, like the best feel for, kind of a pick here.
Okay.
Because I know both these teams, right? I don't know anything about Oregon, genuinely. I don't know really much about Miami. I don't even know that much about Indiana, but I know both these teams, and so it's a little easier to pick, and we've seen it before.
Yeah.
So my pick, I think Ole Miss just kind of won't be able to stop Georgia, and I think it's kind of a lot of scoring early, like you saw. In that last game, but I think they're going to match each other early. And I think as you go, body blow. Georgia's not going to stop, but Ole Miss is eventually going to start feeling it. And their offense is going to start to fail. And I think Georgia's going to win it in the second half really easily. Final score 38-24. I think Georgia wins it pretty easy. That's a 14-point game.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty big game. Or that's a big gap.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of running, but I think it's going to be effective running. 9 yards per carry. Kind of thing for Georgia. And then Ole Miss kind of going to take the top off a few times early and then kind of realize, oh, wait. And Georgia's going to adjust. And
I think for me, I actually think it is closer. I think Ole Miss adjusts in certain ways of the game where they can dominate in the pass game. And I think they're in it till the end, but I do agree. I think Georgia's the more veteran team. I think they're just straight up better team. I think they have better coaching. I think they have better skill players.
Better coaching for sure.
So I'm going to go with the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm going to go 31-27. I think it's a fun Sugar Bowl. And I think Ole Miss can take it down to the wire. Like I think it's possible Ole Miss can win this game. But I will go with Georgia. I'll go with the more experienced team. And I think if Georgia kind of breaks through Ole Miss, I do think that the sky's the limit for them. And I do think that like national title is kind of on their mind at that point. Because that's one of the best offenses you're going to face. You beat them twice. So I think Georgia win this one and moves on to the semis.
Yeah, like interesting thing for this game for me is just kind of like, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, like I think P. Golding kind of got outcoached in that first half against Summerall.
Yeah.
Right, like Summerall was adjusting, especially on defense, and P. Golding essentially did nothing about it till halftime. And so, at halftime they made good adjustments and they were able to run away with it, but. Kirby Smart's not just going to adjust at halftime. He's going to adjust at the first drive, the second drive, the third drive. Like Kirby Smart's, that's why they win, because Kirby Smart's the best at it, right? And so Pete Golding's got to be able to see the adjustments and adjust with him, or else this game's going to get out of hand. Because Kirby Smart, not only is he a slightly better coach than Summerall, he's got better players than you now, and so you got to be able to adjust better than he did last time.
And I think Pete Golding can. Like I think it's possible. I don't know if it happens. But there's a reason
we'll learn a lot about him.
Got named the interim head coach.
He's not the interim.
There's a reason. Or, yeah, you're
He's
right.
not the interim. All right.
You're right.
Interesting stuff, huh? All right. Anyway.
That's wild to think about.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move into our next segment. Cue the music.
Yeah, so last week we already talked about it. The college football playoff first round. Bama, Miami, Oregon, Ole Miss all move on to the quarterfinal. The Seahawks beat the Rams in the game of the year, Thursday Night Football. The Bears beat the Packers in a crazy overtime game. The Panthers take down the Bucks and move into number 1 in the division. Wait 2 weeks, they won't be anymore. The Jaguars, they kill the Broncos in a weird game. The Steelers end the Lions' playoff hopes. The Patriots come back and they beat the Ravens. And the 49ers blow out the Colts and Phillip Rivers. Interesting, huh? The Chiefs, they're going to move to Kansas in 2031, which is really interesting. The stadium's going to have 10,000 less fans also. The plans have 10,000 less fans. So less tickets, higher prices, but at least it's a dome, right? Right? In Kansas, now can host a Super Bowl. How fun. DK Metcalf was suspended 2 games for punching a fan. DK said the fan said a bad slur, but the video proves it otherwise. Why are we lying about that? You punched him, dude. The Pirates, they traded for Brandon Lau in a 3-team deal. The Red Sox make a trade for Wilson Contreras. And the Athletics trade for Jeff McNeil. So the Mets better sign somebody. They're in trouble. The Athletics and Tyler Soderstrom agreed to a 7-year, $86 million extension. That's the largest guaranteed deal in franchise history. And I think the Dodgers just paid that to Ohtani last hour. Okay. Munetaka Murakami signs with the White Sox on a 2-year, $34 million deal. Now, just wait for July. Don't buy your jerseys. He'll be on a different team. The Pirates, they land Ryan O'Hearn. He's an all-star, by the way. Marlins signed Pete Fairbanks, who's not an all-star, but he's still really good. More quarterbacks enter the portal. Iowa State's Rocco Beck, probably following his coach to Penn State. USF's Byron Brown, probably following his coach to Auburn. And then James Madison's Alonzo Barnett, his coach also moving. And UNLV's Anthony Calandri, I don't even know if his coach is moving. But he won.
Damn, Mullen, man.
No, and he won Conference Player of the Year. What is it, Mountain West Player of the Year? Yeah. Michigan, they hire former Utah coach Kyle Whittingham as head coach. 5 years on the deal, $8.2 million a year. Looks like he actually didn't retire. He just got forced out of Utah. So James, which MLB team has the most left to do this offseason?
I mean, you said kind of the Mets. Probably the Mets, honestly, right?
Yeah, they lost a lot.
They still have to get some stuff. You could say.
You want me to go first, and you probably think about
it. Yeah.
I had 3 honorable mentions. My 3 honorable mentions were the Cubs, Mets, and Blue Jays. So I think they've got a big fish left in them, maybe 2. But I don't know. I think they've done not a lot of work left around the edges. Maybe just 1 or 2 big fish. But my answer is the Phillies. I know they're my team or whatever, but the Phillies haven't done anything really yet. They've signed a couple of guys. They traded Strahm. They picked up Keller. But I think they've got a lot of work to do around the edges as well as maybe getting a big fish. And so I think Castellanos won't be on the team. I don't think Bone will be on the team. I think they also could re-sign Realmuto. They could go get a Bregman or a Tucker or something like that. I think the Phillies have a big fish left in them, plus a lot of work around the edges. So I'll say the Phillies.
I'll go with the Chicago White Sox. They're contenders
Tucker.
Now. Go snag a big name.
Room for Tucker and Bellinger.
They can be contenders. Yeah, why not?
And Bregman.
Why not? Get all 3 of them.
And Framber.
So I'll go with the White Sox.
Yeah. Also, I think Blue Jays could actually have. I don't know if the Blue Jays have 2 names left in them because they already got Cease, right? Big contract.
Yeah. Dude, his hair is so long now. Bro, it's so wild. He used to have the short hair and the mustache. Yeah. You remember? Now it's he doesn't have a mustache and he just has long hair. Yeah. It looks so different. Yeah. It's wait, hold on, I'm pulling.
Yeah. So I think the Blue Jays could be in line for Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger or a Framber, but is it all of them or is it one of them? That's the thing. Because they already paid $200 million to Cease. I don't know. I think the Cubs could be in the market for Framber or Ranger, kind of the same pitcher. Or Imai, I think is interesting as well. With Imanaga already there, and just kind of the kind of guys I like to have. So it'll be an interesting rest of this offseason. Lots of big names still available. Down Cease.
Bro, he does not look like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, hold on. This is what I remember Dylan Cease as, though.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The short hair.
Yeah, I remember him short hair, clean mustache, this, bro. That's what I remember Dylan Cease as.
Yeah. Dylan Cease, man. I think
I love Dylan Cease.
People are comparing that to the Wheeler deal at Philly. Interesting. Interesting
He's
thought.
better than Wheeler.
But because Wheeler was kind of the same, where it was like, I don't know the control, but he strikes out a lot of guys, and then he turned into one of the best pitchers in the league.
Yeah,
so,
Cease, I
we'll
love
see.
Cease.
Wheeler already said he's retiring at the end of his contract. He already said it. Yeah. So yeah, in 3 years I'm out. Okay, dude.
For it, bro.
I think it's your picks.
That could just be cap. Oh yeah, you're right.
You talk about
that. Could just be cap, like genuinely. What if he was just like?
I don't think it's cap.
He was like, nah. I just want to go somewhere else.
No. So NFL picks time. Last week was crazy. Michael ended up 1 pick from Ty Miles. He had 12 of 15.
Great performance,
so
man.
He is going to be in the 2 spot. You got anything to say about that, James?
Incredible performance. And Michael actually, we kind of talked about this after the pod about how he actually gave really good explanation. He gave really good context on a bunch of games.
Yeah.
And we were impressed with Michael. So I was glad to have Michael on the show. I think he did a really good job.
Yeah, he did.
Obviously, he did.
Yeah,
Miles still holding the shirt.
He picked the Titans.
He picked some really good good picks. I remember that watching game.
I remember thinking about that. I was like, oh, Michael's not going to win. Look at all these upsets. Now I remembered right before I checked. I was like, wait, Michael picked all the upsets.
Yeah. It's wild.
Almost done. All right, we picked the Giants. Okay. All right. So no guest on this week. So we have one more week of guests until Miles claims his trophy and gets back on here for the divisional round. I think is what we're gonna do. Maybe wild card. We'll see. I'm playing it by ear at this point. Maybe next week we'll do an NFL thing and then go into. Or no, next week we'll probably do college football and then the week after that will be like the week of the semifinals. So we'll already talked about the semifinals, so we can do something else. I don't know. Anyway, so let's start off with Texans at Chargers. James, what you got?
Yeah, this is a game today actually. We got 2 Saturday games. This is the first one. I'm gonna go with the Texans in this one. I think the defense steps up, and I think they look way better than they did last week because they did not look good offensively last week. I'm gonna go with the Texans in a good statement game to show why. Or did they clinch if they win this game?
Yeah,
they clinched.
Spot.
So yeah, I think they'll win this one and they'll clinch a playoff spot.
This was one of the toughest ones for me to pick, if not the toughest. But I decided I trust the Chargers offense more. And I trust the Chargers defense to get stops, and I trust this to be a low-scoring game. I think the Chargers come out on top in a close one. Low score, maybe like 17-14 kind of thing. Ravens-Packers.
Heck yeah, baby. Malik Willis versus Tyler Huntley. What a matchup on Saturday Night Football.
Playoff stakes on the line, too.
I will go with the Packers because I think Malik Willis is better than Tyler Huntley, and I think he looks pretty good last week. So I'll go with the Packers in a game that I will not watch.
Yeah, I probably won't watch this either. Well, LSU plays tonight, so maybe I'll watch. Anything other than that. So,
we're gonna lose.
Yeah, but this is an important game. Like Baltimore,
yeah, it's kind of wild.
They got their playoff hopes on the line, right?
You gotta win this game.
And Green Bay obviously still trying to play, if not for the division, probably not the division, but like as playoff seeding and stuff, and they're still not clinched yet. I don't think so.
No, they have.
Or they have. Okay,
they have, yeah.
So Green Bay.
All the NFC teams have clinched except the NFC South winner.
Really?
Yeah. Which is crazy.
So yeah, I got Green Bay in this game. I think they have a better quarterback. I think they're at home is going to help. And I think the Ravens are in a bad spot right now, and it's going to be a tough couple games going at the end of the season. We both picked the Saints over the Titans. We both picked the Bengals over the Cardinals. You picked the Browns. So tell us about that. Steelers Browns.
Yeah, I'm going with an upset this week. I'm going with the Browns defense to step up. Which is kind of wild because Denzel Ward got named a Pro Bowler. Denzel Ward's going to have an incredible game in this one. I'm just calling it. He got named a Pro Bowler, and he has sucked this year. Bro, the Pro Bowl voting, like, I got a problem with the Pro Bowl voting, bro. Like, Zay Flowers is in the freaking Pro Bowl. He has more fumbles than touchdowns.
Travis Kelce got the most votes out of anyone. Which he's been good, but the most votes out of anyone.
I know, but, like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Like, how are we putting Zay Flowers in the Pro Bowl? Give me any other receiver in the AFC than Zay Flowers. Like, literally, give me DeAndre Hopkins on his own team. Has more touchdowns than Zay Flowers.
Put an NFC receiver in there. I don't care. A lot of that you can use a spot.
Like, it's insane. Like, sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm going with the Browns in this one. I'm going with Shadur to have a pretty good game. Harold Fannin injured his groin in practice, by the way, this week. But he's been incredible this year. The rookies for Cleveland have been so awesome. Junkins is obviously out in this one. I think Dylan Sampson steps up. And I think they play really, really well. And I think they kind of get a grind out game.
Tajay Spears stole my consolation championship with 20 points last week.
Oh, he had 20, bro.
He had 20, and I lost by less than a point, or I won by less than a point, which means I lost. And Tajay Spears had 20.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And Butker had an amazing game once again. Like, dude, just stop. Anyway, I got Steelers here every week.
Championship, by the way.
Every week, I've got like more and more confidence in the Steelers. The more they win, they look really good.
That's true.
And more and more, I keep thinking, wait, could this team make a run in the playoffs with the teams that are in at this point? Probably not, but. I think they're going to win this game pretty handily against a bad Browns team that's trying to lose, basically.
Yeah, it's lucky facts. Like, the more I'm thinking about this game, is like the more I want to change my opinion.
Yeah, you can't though. All right.
Also should better quarterback.
We both picked the Patriots over the Jets. We both picked the Jags over the Colts. Bucks and Dolphins. Tell us about that one, man.
Yeah, I'm going with the Fins in this one. I think both NFC South teams lose. But I just think Miami looks good. I think Quinn Ewers takes another step in this one. I think it's a close game. I think that the Bucks have not looked like themselves, even though they're fully healthy. Like, I need to see the game. Like, maybe this is the game where the Bucks show me, like, hey, we're the Bucks from last year.
Or the Bucks from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, also true. Yeah, like before Bucky Irvin got injured, like, they looked so good. And, like, Emeka Egbuka has slowed down. Mike Evans just doesn't really look like his former self.
Isn't he out? Or no, is he in?
No, he's in. Chris Godwin is back in. Like, and they just don't really, even though they have all the guys healthy again, they don't really look like the same team. And I want to see that game where they do. So I cannot pick them until they show me a game where they are like that. So I'm going to go with Miami.
Well, going against Quinn Ewers and the Dolphins. So I'm going to go ahead.
Don't disrespect my boy Quinn Ewers.
No, I love Quinn Ewers, and I'm the one that's been right about Quinn Ewers. But
true.
I am going to pick the Bucks here. The Bucks need to win. They feel the urgency. I don't think they're going to let the Panthers just run away with this division. Do you know? Do you have any idea what the tiebreaker would look like if the Bucks were to win next week and they'd have the same record? Do you have any idea what that is?
Because I still think it's like if the Bucks were to win and the Panthers lose.
Yeah, so they're one game separated right now. So if they both were to lose,
it still comes down to just the game at the end of the year.
No, because then they would be split. Well, no. So if the Panthers go in the next week with a 1-game lead, Panthers have a 1-game lead right now.
And then they. So you're saying they win this week?
Or both of them. So
lose or both of them win.
Both of them lose or both of them win. They carry over to next week. Panthers have a 1-game lead. Bucks win. They're now tied with a split record.
I think it's Bucks. And I don't know.
I'm not
sure. I think it's common opponents. I'm pretty sure it's common opponents.
Look up NFC South tiebreaker scenarios and see what it says. Anyway, I got the Bucks there. I think they're gonna just kind of get back up to speed. They feel the urgency. They're playing the Dolphins right now. Quinn Ewers, love him, but not gonna win this game. All right, we both have Seattle over Carolina. Now, I was kind of surprised to see you say that, but also Seattle's been one of the best teams in the league. Like, Carolina, I think they have a solid game, but Seattle's going to go in there, I think, kind of handle them pretty easily. Yeah, anything on that? You still looking?
Yeah.
Yeah, you picked Seattle too. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't really see the Panthers being able to play in this game. I think Seattle's
they beat the Rams.
A Super Bowl. Yeah, they have.
Carolina's so like inconsistent. Like the fact that they played good last week tells me they're going to get crushed this week.
Possible.
Yeah. So.
It's very possible. I think. Yeah. Like, I think it actually probably happens. Like, and then I think they can come back the next week and look like
the best team again and like, kill the Bucks again.
That's the thing. Like, at some point, the Panthers have to find stability, and I think that comes in the coming years. Like, I don't think that is this year.
They got the blueprint.
Exactly. Right. Like, they just got to keep putting guys around Bryce Young.
Dave Canales is looking good.
Like, Derek Brown should have been in the freaking Pro Bowl, bro. Holy.
But he can play for the Panthers. Like,
it doesn't matter, bro. It does
not
matter.
The Panthers,
it does not matter. It
Frick the Panthers.
Oh my gosh.
They can have their own Pro Bowl.
Oh my god. You know who else in the freaking Pro Bowl? TJ Watt. TJ Watt is absolute.
Don't say it.
Like, he is horrible this year.
Oh,
like TJ Watt has done nothing this entire year.
Well, he's
like,
also like
literally done nothing.
He also can't breathe right now, so I wouldn't.
God.
By the way, running away with the. I mean, you came back a little bit in college football futures draft, but we're talking about the NFL.
Because I got some wins.
You got some wins, yeah. I'm still gonna win that, and I'm gonna win the NFL draft. It looks like
sure.
Because I got 6. By the insane amount of. Did you see that draft? Have you looked at that?
No, I haven't looked at it.
Seahawks went super late. Like no one picked the Jaguars.
Texans, yeah, no, I do remember that.
It was insane. Like, I think. If you have a picture of it?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Because it's insane. But anyway. Did you see the Giants Raiders? Max Crosby got told he wasn't playing.
Yeah.
So he just left the facility.
Yeah, that's aura, bro.
Crazy. Like, yeah, dude, take one for the team. You get the number 1 pick, dude.
Jeez. Nah, bro. He doesn't.
Jeez. No, I'm joking.
He literally said, like, in the interview, they asked him about it, and he's like, I don't play for a pick. Well, obviously,
Take
you
number
should,
2, dude.
but still. Yeah, I'll take number 2. What's
Anyway.
it gonna matter, bro? Like, well, Dante
I mean,
Moore and Fernando Mendoza too. That's a good point.
Anyway, we both got the Giants there.
Jackson Dartson.
Eagles Bills. I got the Bills here. I just trust them more at this point. Eagles have really been sputtering this season. Now they've been able to sneak out wins. They've found ways to win games, and that's obviously great. But I think the Bills, they're gonna have a chance to win a game here, get back on track.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think the Bills are just the
And at home.
superior team. Like, the Eagles have shown me so many things this year where I do not think that they can win a Super Bowl. The Bills have shown me a lot of things this year where I'm like, oh yeah, this team looks good. Like, they've got these moments where they look like, yeah, like this might be the year. And this is the year where you don't get Joe, you probably are not going to get Lamar, and you're not going to get Pat. So it's like, this is the year in the AFC, you got to go win one. So I think this is the start for Josh Allen on his, like, reign of terror.
Philly's interesting, though, because, like, they just win. You know? Like, they don't look good, but they win. So that's interesting to see. Can they do that against one of the best teams? Do they start playing their best ball? I don't know. Are you still looking for the tiebreakers thing?
No, I'm looking at our futures draft.
Yeah, so look at the late picks there.
Seahawks went late to Will. Bears went late to Will.
Yeah.
He picked Commanders before he picked Seahawks and Bears.
Yeah, hold on. Let's see.
There was
Steelers went 5th.
Texans and Patriots went decently late.
Yeah,
but really look what went like first. Like Chiefs, Lions,
Colts.
Eagles, Bills, Colts, Bucks.
So I mean, Eagles, Bills. I'm loving myself right now.
Yeah, no, those are the best first 2, and then you get into like down here you get like the Rams went pretty late. Like Rams and Patriots going, and they might be the 2 like top seeds. Is crazy.
It looks like I'm gonna win that because I've got 6 playoff teams: Eagles, Bills, Packers, Rams, Chargers, Steelers.
Yeah, you got 6,
and no one else. I've counted, but
Will's got
maybe Bucks,
maybe 3.
No one picked Panthers, right?
No, he's got 4, maybe 4. I don't pick Panthers.
Wait, so he's got Seahawks, Bears, Broncos, and then maybe
Bucks or Ravens.
So
give him
3.5.
Yeah. And then I've got no Chiefs, no Lions, probably Niners, Patriots, Texans. That's it.
So you're gonna lose. Yeah, I'm gonna win again.
Unless my teams win.
That'll be 4-0. By the way, anyway, who's counting?
No one. Like literally.
Me. Bears, Niners. You picked the Bears. Tell us about that.
I didn't.
Did you not? I might be stupid, guys.
I will never pick against my Niners. I have not picked against the Niners. I picked against them once this entire year, and they actually won that game. But
I've got the rest of them right there, right?
But I'm going with the rest of them right. Okay, but I'm going with the 49ers.
I got the Niners too.
I think that they look like last week. I think was like solidified that like they can win a Super Bowl. Like they're good enough to do it. Their offense is incredible.
Yeah. And
the fact they're doing it all without Brandon Ayuk and Ricky Pearsall most of the year.
An entire defense.
And an entire defense. No Nick Bosa, no Fred Warner. You might get Fred Warner back later if you can get far enough.
You lost the rest of them in free agency.
And that young defense has stepped up. Robert Saleh, dude, defensive coordinator for the 49ers, kind of went under the radar after he got fired from the Jets, has been incredible. He's kind of like an Energizer bunny, too, on the sideline. Like, he, is jumping up and, getting hyped with his kid, I don't know, or with his guys. It's cool. But I think this Niners team showed last week, and it's also cool. They might not have to leave home. Have you heard about this?
No.
So if they win the next 2 games, so they control their own destiny for never having to leave San Francisco for the next 2 months.
Nice.
So they win their next 2 games, which are both at home, and they're both really hard matchups, Bears and Seahawks. So really hard matchups, probably 2 really good games. They win those 2 games, they get the number 1 seed in the NFC. They control it. And if they get the number 1 seed in the NFC, you get home field for the entire playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then if they win 3 games or 2 games, and then they get to the Super Bowl's in San Francisco.
Cool.
Which is kind of crazy.
That's
so
nice.
If that happened, that'd be a really sick story.
Yeah, I got the Niners here. They proved me a lot last week. Now the Bears, they're still they found ways to win games. That's huge. And they've really impressed me. But this is a really tough game for them. This is the game where you can show me that you're not just a playoff team, but you're a Super Bowl contender. Whereas I know the Niners are, and the Niners, I think, will be able to win this game pretty handily on the offensive side of the ball. We both picked the Rams over the Falcons. So time for the dog of the week.
Dog of the week!
My dog of the week is Ruben Bain.
Nice.
The defensive end from Miami.
Former, or new Saint?
Yeah. 4 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. I hope a new Saint, but we're going to get the 10th pick at this point.
Yep.
They won 10-3 over A&M. Ruben Bain was just wreaking havoc constantly on Marcel Reed, especially in that second half. And they held total A&M to just 3 points. Showed the world and the A&M linemen that were talking shit about him that he is a huge problem.
Yeah.
So Ruben Bain, my dog of the week.
Yeah, I went with another guy from Miami, too. We talked about him earlier in the episode. I have to give him his flowers even more. Mark Fletcher. Like, dude, like I said, he is Miami bred through and through. Like, he loves Miami football, and it showed in this game. He had 17 carries for 172 yards. He didn't score, but there was only one score in this game, so that didn't really matter. But, yeah, Miami beats Texas A&M on the road, went to a hard environment, and they were able to run the ball down their throat, and that's why Miami won. Shout out to the Hurricanes. They showed why they deserved to be there. And I think there was, with so much pressure on them, that was a really fun game to watch. And shout out to Miami. Let's see what they can do in the second round.
If you showed somebody the stats in that game, it's like, what do you think the score is? It's like maybe 20-17.
Yeah, that's true.
24-14. Nah, they missed like 10 field goals.
Yeah,
and so they would run into the 20, miss a field goal. The other team would run into the 20, miss a field goal. Like, it was so weird.
Dude,
the yards are good, but no scoring.
It was like Texas A&M even like benched their kicker and went to another kicker, and then he missed.
It wasn't the kicker; it was the freaking win.
Yeah, true. But like they benched their kicker and they went to their like OG kicker who they had benched earlier in the season.
And then the win took the.
And
apparently, the win's the same. Win's the same either way. Bro, stop.
Dude, I forgot this was in here.
All right. Well, see y'all next week. We're probably talking about the semis next week, giving y'all a week to watch it, and then we'll talk about NFL probably the week after. That'll be the wild card, I think. So that'll work out well. We'll see.
Gosh, there's so much good football.
We'll see. I'm still playing it by year. I'll probably look at the schedule later this week and see what we're gonna do. Just where everything falls. So it also depends on when in the weekend we record. I don't know. But anyway, we will see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.